Good afternoon, and welcome to the Wolverine Caucus once again. We're delighted to have you this afternoon, and you know, it's a most fortuitous week for us because this is Michigan Graduate Week. Governor Granholm has proclaimed this week to be the week that we recognize graduate students in the state of Michigan. So isn't it wonderful and fitting that we would have the Provost of the University of Michigan with us today? I'm going to ask our co-chair of the Wolverine Caucus, Mr. Craig Ruff, to come and introduce Provost Sullivan, and would like to especially thank some of our guests who've arrived today. State Representative Doug Geis has joined us, and Jeff Mason, Executive Director of the Michigan University Research Corridor. Also, we have Cynthia Wilbanks, our Vice President for Government Relations from the University of Michigan, and Jackie Jerome Marks from Governor Granholm's office. So thank you all for being here with us this afternoon, and without further ado, Craig, take it away.
Welcome to the Wolverine Caucus, where obviously the mic is working overly well. It's my pleasure to just kind of welcome rather than give a long introduction for Terry Sullivan. I'm on the University of Michigan Alumni Board. So about a year ago, we have dinner, usually the night before our work session, with people like Cynthia Wilbanks and Terry. And I had the pleasure of sitting at a dinner table with Terry. Her mind is as agile as any mind I have ever met in any walk of life, politics, education, healthcare, you name it. She is also funny. And that's a combination you don't often see. She has an incredibly sharp wit. She's interested in things that normal people in a profession with her kind of expertise don't dabble in. But she is so broad-gauged that I just can't tell you. If you ever get invited to a dinner party by Terry Sullivan, grab the opportunity. She is a delight. She is also, in a presentation she made the next day to the board, gave what is unquestionably the best presentation I've ever heard on university finance, university making ends meet within a university, complex body. She is more than a provost. She's a university president and will be this fall at the very distinguished University of Virginia. And while we are sad to see her go, we are just thrilled that yet again somebody has found this kind of talent coming out of the state of Michigan. Her only weakness, as far as I can tell, she went undergrad at MSU. That's about it. Dr. Sullivan.
Well, Craig, thanks for raising the expectations here. Hope I'm going to be able to deliver on all of this. Well, I'm really delighted to have a chance to be here with you. Everybody get a copy of the PowerPoints? Okay, good. Let's see if I can get this to, there we go. There we go. Well, this is a tender topic for those of us involved in public higher education. It's a tough time for us, and that's because as states distribute money, we're kind of at the bottom of the hierarchy. We can't swing federal matching money if you fund us, and we don't always have the best articulated constituency, and the courts have not ordered you to fund us yet, and so we don't fare very well sometimes in comparison with others who are contenders for state money. But I'm going to try and make the case that there's a lot of value in continuing to fund higher education, and perhaps some peril to us if we stop doing it. I'm going to talk a little bit about the prepared material and try to give you a format for the handout so you can take notes if you wish. But I'm going to leave time at the end for Q&A, and And we don't have to limit the questions to what's being covered in my talk. I'd be happy to talk about anything you want to hear about that's happening at the University of Michigan. And if I can't answer it, I'll refer it to Cynthia back there in the back of the room. Okay. So let's talk about the financial benefits first. You know, a lot of times the issue about whether or not higher education is worth it really is expressed solely in terms of what it's going to do to the students' earning power in the future. And I think that's important. I think it's only the beginning, but it is one way. The U.S. Census Bureau estimates that on average, an individual who has received a college degree earns $1 million more over their lifetime than someone who's only completed high school. I think the other side of this, though, that's useful for us to think about is that $1 million means that as a taxpayer, this person also contributes more to the society that they live in. It is not just an individual good to have gone to college, but increasingly the disinvestment from public higher education is being justified by saying, well, the benefit goes to these individuals, and so there's no reason that the rest of us should pay for it. Let's just fund it all with user fees. I think that value question somewhat undersells the value of the college degree, but it is true that the typical individual is better off as a result of having gone to college. I hope all of you feel that your lives are better off for your having gone to the U of M or wherever it was that you went to college. There are other benefits, though, to the college degree, and these have been documented by researchers over the years. We know that based on studies of nationally representative groups of college students, they show a greater sense of civic responsibility and social conscience compared with students the same age who didn't go to college. We know that people who have college degrees have a greater interest in and involvement with the political process. We know that they tend to be more engaged in cultural activities, so they become the audiences for the symphonies, the theaters, the opera. They're the people who attend the museums and who make the most use of libraries. And so to that extent, they are people who are important in the general cultural life of the state. People who have graduated from college have a greater interest in policy discussions and debate. They have a greater interest in political campaigns, and they are more likely to vote than people who have not gone to college. These are behaviors that we value in a democratic society. And the role that college plays in the civic education of individuals is something I think we perhaps have not emphasized enough. But it does help to prepare young people who will be active citizens going forward. Another important benefit is the development of greater ability. So people who have attended college tend to be more flexible in their thinking. They tend to be more open to ideas. They score better on measures of abstract reasoning. They do better in terms of critical reasoning, and they tend to enjoy and be skilled at working on problems of greater intellectual complexity. Well, these are qualities that we'll need very much in the workforce of the 21st century. Facing as we are globalization, technological change, the need for organizations to act smartly and swiftly to remain competitive, there's going to be lots of room for people who are gifted in abstract thinking, critical reasoning, and handling intellectually complex problems. There are some benefits to society as individuals develop these critical thinking skills. Some of you may be familiar with the work of Richard Florida, who is a futurist, and he's the author of books on what he calls the creative class. Florida's work examines the growing importance of knowledge and creativity in economic growth. So he argues that in the past, factories located near natural resources, such as rivers or coal mines, and areas that had coal or copper or whatever was needed did well. But Florida suggests that today the source of the competitive advantage is going to be human capital, the educated and creative people who develop new ideas, new technologies, new kinds of organizations, and new ways of doing business. And unlike the coal mine, this human capital is exceedingly mobile, moves easily from one place to another. Florida has documented the tendency of people in this creative class to locate where there are others who share their interests. Success in their work depends on being in proximity to others who are like-minded and who can provide opportunities